If I had $1 million, I would fix that window. And I would fix that window. I would fix this. This is gone. I would love this exact same telehandler, maybe just brand new. We have a little bit of a popular girl problem here. Happy Tuesday. I just finished chores, so it's almost lunchtime already. We're down to 4 days before Mark is gone. We've just been spending time together, which is nice. He's gonna bring so much back, and actually doing our podcast is gonna be so nice because every week he's gonna send me new footage and I get to listen to it, and then we'll sit together on the computer and do an intro and an outro on all the podcasts. So it's my way of really getting to be involved in his travels, which is really, really cool. The rams are still breeding like crazy, which is good. The first week was kind of quiet, so it just seems like today's been a busier day. After lunch, I'm gonna pick a question that you guys have, maybe a couple, and answer it. You guys, these questions have been awesome. So right away, you've been asking me stuff on my community. So I checked there first for some really good questions. There are so many good questions. The one I'm gonna start with, and maybe this will take up the whole video, I'm not really sure yet, is from RockyArrowStockdog. If you won the lottery with a huge lump sum, what changes, improvements would you do to your sheep business? This is a good one. I have done a video before on like very inexpensive improvements because I think that's really important than dreaming up the big ones, right? Like focus on the ones you can afford first because little changes make such a huge difference. I'm a true believer of that. You don't need what I have here to be a sheep farmer and to be a successful sheep farmer. I know a ton of people that do this way more economically and arguably probably more successfully than what I do. But this is a work in progress. I'm trying to improve every year in any way I can. But wow, if I was given, I don't know, $1 million to do whatever I want. I do have a little bit of a wish list. Some of them are needs, I would say, for animal welfare and for performance of the flock, and then the rest are just wants, just greedy, selfish, I could do this job better. Ironically enough, one of the things I would love in this barn, if I had the money, bale chopper. Either one on the front of the Bobcat maybe, or even I would be happy with one, a very inexpensive one, that I could just throw pieces in, especially now that I'm putting dry hay in my ration. I would love to be able to have even one of those little self-propelled little ones that you could just put in pieces and it would just chop up the bales. I could even just put it in a pile and then lift it up with my telehandler. I'm running really short on haylage this year, and my friend Belinda has been selling me hay. My mixer doesn't mix the hay very well. This is the TMR, and apparently I have some plastic in it that I can't get. So the bale, if I was just to put in a big bale in here, it just does not chop. It just rolls. I tried new knives. I would love to be able to pre-process these bales and then be able to use more dry hay in the ration. So as you can tell, the pack is getting really deep. And so now what I do is I actually come into these pens. I used to just put in the straw pieces and let the ewes spread it out. But right now I'm trying to conserve and spread it out as best I can. So this is where that bale barron would be sweet, because it would just spread it evenly, and I think you'd use a lot less straw. I'm sure a lot of you guys have one, and appreciate my thoughts on purchasing one if I had all the money in the world. Hello, sweet pea. The other thing I would love to do is down here. That's my utility room, and it's got a perfect like 10 by 10. It's the roof of my utility room underneath, and it's the perfect kind of spot that I could enclose and make a little sandy room. So a room that I could maybe have a chair or a couch or my computer, a coffee maker up there, and a window overlooking this. So I really want to do that. I wanted to do that before this last lambing group, but harvest, roof, all the things happened. It never came to fruition. But that is on my to-do list sometime, maybe this summer, but we'll see. I feel like all these jobs, because it's not a need, it's just a want, the wants get pretty low on the priority list. But I would love to build a little loft area. I'm wondering if they don't do it because they're afraid I will never come back home. Coffee, couch, computer. I have no really need to go back in the house. Don't know what the dog's doing. If I had $1 million, I would fix that window. And I would fix that window. I would fix this. This is gone. My poor telehandler. It needs, I would love this exact same telehandler, maybe just brand new. Literally, this telehandler is my most valuable employee. I'm sorry, Chris, I love you, but oh my God, I think she would even agree. We can't do what we can do without this sweet, sweet kitty cat. I love my bobcat. We had a skid steer before this, and I thought for sure I would never love anything more than the skid steer because it can turn on a dime and I could get into the pens really easy. Then this was introduced into my life, and I don't think there's anything better. It reaches where the skid steer doesn't, so we can get up and over our manure spreader really easy, or the dump wagon really easy. I think we use it to fix stuff, to climb stuff. You saw us like fixing the garage door opener. This thing's worth its weight in gold, so I guess if there was money left over, I would either give it a whole lot of neglected love, or I would trade her in for a newer model. I'm sorry, don't take that personally, and please don't die on me tomorrow. I have to be very careful what I say out loud because I manifest a lot of stuff in my life. So I love my handling system. I don't know if there's a lot I would change on this necessarily. I feel like I have to do a lot of climbing, so I'm usually doing all my work over here, and then to move the sheep over, I'm always going around, jumping over gates, or going over here and jumping over gates to push them in, because I still need to spend some money on her or some time on her. So maybe I just need a better one of those. But other than that, the handling system works really, really well. I did get these panels with these drop down gates on the top, which have been amazing for handling them. They do move around a lot when I'm vaccinating. I don't love that part, especially when I'm trying to get them sub-Q. I feel like I'm doing a lot of wrestling. It hurts my back. So I don't know if I need another kind of place that you can walk beside them. I've seen like double chases that are nice. For what I use it for and for how many sheep I have, it works quite well. Mark asked me, what about an auto drafter? So you can get kind of an auto So this machine only automatic, so a door could open 3 ways, and it's also got a scale, built-in scale. I can put my Gallagher TSI on it and just put in any information. So if I want ewe lambs over 100 pounds to go straight ahead, I could plug that in probably. So is that an option? It is. I'm wondering if I don't have enough sheep to really justify that, even if I had all the money in the world. I feel like, I don't know if I need it. Even if I had $1 million, I feel like there's things that I would want more than that, but I've also not had one in here to use. Oh, I can't even believe I forgot this. I think if I had $1 million, I would buy all new hay equipment. Or I would spend the money to pay a custom harvest company to harvest all my hay for me, because hay gives me anxiety. I really don't like hay. You guys have seen that in my videos. You don't like it when I talk about how much I don't like doing hay. But man, nice new harvester, some nice new wagons. I think I could learn to love hay. I am working on something that I completely forgot tomorrow is the deadline for, so I'm really glad you guys asked this question. Canada has a Canadian Agriculture Partnership Funding Program, and the next intake started January 8th, and it's actually due tomorrow. I've opened up an application, completely forgot about it till right this minute. I have a quote on putting some circ fans in this barn. I was looking at either the big ass fans, those great big ones that would probably ride down the center of this barn and get some real good air movement in here. But the guy that sells them also sells some other ones. I believe they're called a cyclone fan. And they actually distribute quite a big radius of air as well. But he said that the advantage of those ones, we could put them in the middle of these pens. So I would have double the amount of fans for almost the same price. So I would be able to put fans in the middle of these 2 pens and those 2 pens all the way down the penning. And he just says there'd be more air movement. Not quite as important, well, maybe it isn't as important in the winter according to my condensation, but I'm really, really worried about, I really want to focus on making that July breeding group better. And I'm thinking if I can keep those rams really cool, or at least feel cooler with the air blowing on them in that July month when I want them to breed, I'm hoping to keep my conceptions up. Because what can happen is, in this barn, if it's the perfect temperature of like heat and humidity, it can act like a greenhouse. So it can have the opposite effect. If a ram gets overheated, it can kill their sperm. And it takes 60 days to regenerate. That would mean I would miss an entire breeding group in July, which is your obviously the biggest chance for heat to be an issue. So if I had the money today, they would be here installing them as we speak. Instead, I am looking at funding to help me install them. I'm not really sure what I don't know if it's 30%, I'm not really sure, I have to check it again. So fans down here and fans down that side is the goal for 2020. This is kind of the last place, well, not the last place, it's the one place that I think we really do need to invest. I would really like to have a proper manure storage, so with sides and a cover if money was no option. Even if I could just have some walls, some side walls around it, I would like this a little more contained and maybe pushed back from the barn a little bit. I don't like it right by my door. The other thing I would maybe like to do, I talked a little bit about the hay equipment, and I'm kind of joking and laughing about that because for how much we use the hay equipment, it's fine. But I mean, if money wasn't an option, it'd be great to be able to maybe get that custom done. But I'd also, perhaps, I've talked to you guys about this before, it's getting windy, but maybe even perhaps put up bunks instead of using the bags, the egg bags. But I'm really on the fence because egg bags work quite well. Maybe get my own egg bag machine. That might be an investment. I forgot last week when I weaned those older bottle babies, I typically try to vaccinate them on the same day. I am just using the Tasvax just as this clostridial vaccination. I am doing these to these bottle babies because they didn't get mom's milk, so I do a Tasvax vaccination for the mums, before they lamb, and hopefully that transfers on to the lamb. But because they got pulled off and put on the machine, they don't get that in the milk replacer. So I just want to give this as insurance. They probably don't need it, but I don't want to go through all that milk replacer and all that work, and they're looking so good, then to lose them by something stupid that this could have prevented. Hey guys, okay, so I'm just gonna give these guys a 2 ml booster shot. Hello. Can I just give you the needle and you can just do it yourself? No? Okay. I have another question. This is kind of a bonus. This is from Cathy Heslop. Show us the tiny lamb that you were bottle feeding because the sweetie was too small to bottle feed through the other lambs to get to the milk nipple. How has it progressed? Great question. So very shortly after I moved it into the little nursery where I have the machine here for bottle feeding, what I did is I put it in with some older lambs, which you saw, and they wouldn't let it come up to drink. So that week I vaccinated them and put them in with the older lambs. So that's this group here. So they're in with this group now. But I left this pen, that's the little one. If you remember, that one was a legit baby off a mum, but the mum died of retained placenta. And then that little one was one of the quints that I put on her mum as a foster baby, and they were doing so well, and then the mum died. So yeah, she's doing really well. Hi, buddy. Really well. Hi. Say hi. Hey. It's always going to be small. Like, it was tiny, tiny, tiny. It was a lot smaller than this big guy. Hi, bud. But it's doing good. There's one more question I really want to answer because it kind of goes in with the theme of today, which is, you know, if I had a whole bunch of money, what would I spend it on? And I'm surprised I didn't get this yet, is, you know, would I spend the money on expanding my flock and making a bigger building or making another building? And this question is pretty close. So it's from Jessica S. Barbara. What's the future plan for your sheep farm? Do you want to expand the flock and build more space to expand? To be perfectly honest, I'm the only one in my family that wants the sheep. Now, the kids are young yet, so who knows? But I didn't get into the sheep knowing that they were hopefully going to take it over someday. I literally did this for me and for our farm as a way for me to contribute, because I knew I wasn't going to be a heavy contributor on the crop side, because that's not really where my passion lies. I really, really do love being around animals. I love raising them. You know, I love figuring out the challenges of them and trying to always better myself in this area. And I knew it would match well because we grow our own crops. So it was a really nice synergy and a nice fit. Do I want to expand? I am at the point now in my life where I barely have enough time to do what I do. I don't need to expand through numbers. I need to expand through improvement. I've talked about this before in quite a few videos. I have a long way to go to reach full potential of the animals I have, and that's through genetic improvement. That's through getting this prolificity working better, keeping more lambs alive when they're born, better numbers to weaning, keeping better replacements back, all these things. I have so much potential just with the 450 that I have, so I can improve and I can expand my numbers with the numbers I already have. And I think we get, even as crop farmers, I think it's so easy to get caught up on size. And I think sometimes you can be very profitable, or you can increase your income per acre, or, you know, income per livestock head, whatever you want to say, just by improving what you're doing already. And I think we got to get over the size mentality and really deal with quality. I think we need to really up our game and improve it and expand through improvement, not by buying more and doing the same mistakes and expecting just to have better numbers because you have more ewes on the ground. So for me, I want to expand through improvement, not by building another barn, increasing my capital, figuring out what to do with the barn if no one wants to take over this. I'm happy with what I got. And yeah, I just want to improve that way. Hi, goat. You haven't seen the people in a while, have you? Hi. You and Ruby. Where's Rubes? There's Ruby. Hello. Do you want to scratch? Come here. You are so large. Goodness gracious. All right. Ruby likes her scratches just like her mommy. What are you doing?